My name's Chris.
And I'm just too excited to say my own name.
She's Kristie. This is the Washing Up Podcast.
Oh, finally, we are here.
Merry Bakemas, everybody.
Indeed, bless us all.
God bless us, everyone.
That's the...
Oh, so it is the return, of course, of the Great Australian Bakeoff.
Oh, is there any greater Bakeoff than the Great Australian Bakeoff?
No, there's
the greatest of Bakeoffs. And tonight was no exception.
Exactly. I mean, the only one that we think rivals it is possibly Canadian, but that's a baking show, apparently. So therefore, they've disqualified themselves from the whole Bake-Off mix.
Even
they've disqualified themselves.
We choose to call them the Great Bakeoff.
We call them Bakeoff. But anyway, beyond that. Australian is back. It is so nice to have the Great Australian Bake-Off back. It was so nice to see the opening shots. It was so nice to hear that music.
And, as Mel said, and now we'll cut to some, close-ups of flowers.
Yeah, close-up of flowers. Flower, bee. It was...
And a new gardener.
Look,
Matt.
In terms of the return... it was everything you could kind of actually hope to find in the return. And a bit more in terms of the quality of the baking. We'll come to the quality of the baking in a minute.
Now, just back to Matt as the gardener.
Well,
do you think he and Maggie were, recreating Lady Chatterley's lover? Is that what's going on?
Look,
I'd
like to think that if they had given them more time...
It would have been the full.
Although, look, Foxtel are looking for original series.
There we go.
And I think there is something in a Driving Miss Daisy style, not even Lady Chatterley, just a Driving Miss Daisy style, but pruning Miss Beers, and it's like...
It basically, it's kind of like an exaggerated Maggie Beer because you can have it set at Stately Beer Manor. And, she's decided to go from paddock to plate. Well, really, I'm trying to think of beer garden
from Virtues to Laguna.
He's beer garden to manor. I don't know. And she's employed this hunky new gardener, and at first, they clash heads because you got to have that tension. She's like, I want it hydroponic, and he's like, no, we're gonna go organic.
And then at the end, he comes up with a 5-course banquet meal, and
he grows the best pumpkins, and that inspires.
No. There's one thing. No, there's one thing he does.
What?
Lamb. Seriously, he works on his sheep are of the highest quality.
Verjuice fed lamb. It's the latest craze in Australia.
Why have Matt and Maggie not combined their talents? Verjuice fed lamb. You're sitting on a gold mine, you two. Get out there. Get after it. Verjuice infused lamb. Not fed. Infused.
They're bathed in it. There's a sheep dip of verjuice. Meh, splash.
The vet doesn't give them inoculations for things. It's just basting in verjuice. We haven't even got to the show yet. So, Look, the opening segment was really cool. It was good to see. First of all, the Claire and Mel stuff together as well was so... I've missed those two so much. And look, we've talked about how there are other shows that are doing a good job of getting it sort of right now.
With the hosts, yeah.
There are other shows that have got hosts that are sort of warming into it. But then there's our Mel and there's our Claire.
And our Mel and our Claire are just... our darling.
I did love the whole. Dyeing her hair purple.
No, pink.
Pink.
Just to get attention
because she doesn't get any fan mail.
That's right.
One of the two of us remembers their lines, but the other one dyed their hair pink because they don't get fan mail.
You remember the audio.
I do.
That's why we're here.
We're here because we work well together, and of course it sums it all up by Matt Moran simply saying, even the birds are laughing at me. So, it's Cake Week. We start off with a Cake Week, which is the way we should. There have been some times we haven't. And
I know. Some people go off script and it's what are we doing here?
We don't like that.
Craziness.
You should...
May as well just call it My Kitchen Bakes, just... getting all the cream.
That's a horrible concept.
Yeah.
That should never happen.
Please don't.
Activated almonds everywhere. Anyway, so we get all the bakers in, and to go through quickly, run through all the bakers. So we've got Angela, who is an American from Adelaide. She's really, again, they said she was going to use American flavours, and my God, didn't she use some American flavours?
She did, but she's a California girl.
She is.
So
and if you didn't know she was American, the apron sure gave it away.
I know. I think there's a standard issue to American
going abroad.
expats.
Yeah, they're going abroad.
It's like, okay, you will need your visa, and here is your complimentary American.
Once you find the American consulate, you get an apron, and then all you can play in the kitchen is "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen.
I like to think they've got appropriate American flag gear for whatever profession or hobby you're going to be doing overseas.
I want the welding mask.
I'm a mistress, a professional mistress. Here is your American flag paddle. You to beat those foreigners into submission.
Beat them red, white, and blue. Anyway, Annette is in there as well. Annette is Scottish. That's what you really need to know about Annette, because she's fucking awesome.
She had booze.
There was whiskey. What are the odds of...
Yes, but lots of pink, even little pink pom-poms on her apron, which are very cute.
We had Anson, who was from Sydney. We had Dan.
I think you'll find he's actually called Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't know why. I just expect him to be doing the splits on two trucks that are moving along and taking a selfie.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I like the double whammy of research and social influencer. It's a great double whammy. And they talk about the fact that he moved to Brisbane and gathered all these followers. I'm wondering if he just moved to Brisbane for the followers.
Yeah, he's a guru.
Yeah.
Guru Dan.
Anyway.
It would be a beautiful Bakeoff Swami, though. Like, is that what it's called?
Let's go with that.
Swami.
Yes.
And where do they stay? Like, they have their guru place. Ashram. Yes, the Bakeoff Ashram.
Did you seriously just describe it as the guru place?
Yeah, where you go to be with your guru.
The shed. Let's go with the shed. So we had David from Melbourne. David's really cool. I like the little bit with his daughter too, like over his shoulder, cooking. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Dennis.
I love Dennis.
You love Dennis. Dennis is awesome.
I'm just here for Dennis, and I don't know why.
When there was a moment at the end where it looked like Dennis was going to go home, Kristie was panicking.
I was Devo anyway, but yeah, just didn't want Dennis to go yet.
Don, whose shirts are quite something.
Could you imagine one of his parties?
Oh God, what a Don's party would be something completely different. Laura's a bit interesting. We'll come to Laura a bit in a minute, but I'm trying to think of something that Laura did that you would consider to be normal.
Cauliflower and a bake.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Then we've got
mayo and a bake.
Then we've got Sunny.
She's a delight.
That level of detail that she's got in everything is just incredible. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact where she said, what prompted you to bake? And she's like, my mother couldn't. When we came out from Pakistan, ovens were for storage.
Well, that's why I learnt to cook. Yeah. Because my mother blew shit up.
Exactly. Yeah. Sue's really awesome as long as she brings in that tray of baklava they had in the opening montage.
Oh, and it was the Lebanese pastries with the meat in it. Oh my God. Sue's place, just deliciousness everywhere.
Win looks like an absolute delight as well.
He looks pretty cool.
And Z.
Yeah.
And I love Claire going, I know Z, she married my best friend. I mean, she was the celebrant, not that she actually married them.
And then I looked at Chris and like, if we'd have just waited till next year, we could have had an actual Bakeoff celebrant to complete our Bakeoff themed wedding.
Well, we did get our cake made by Monica.
And married like 2 bays over.
Yeah, with a venue that looked like the shed and a cake that was the shed.
Yes.
Anyway, so the signature. So we started with the signature, and the signature was a butter cake. So how good is butter?
I just saw like Maggie just getting quite enthused there, and butter is fucking awesome.
Butter is amazing. Now my question is, did you see Devondale?
No.
I don't know if the Devondale's sponsoring this year. Hashtag you ought to be congratulated.
Oh, no.
You know who I did see?
Cobram. Oh, out with the Devondale, in with the Cobram.
Oh, I wonder if there's tension.
I don't know how they can afford to sponsor anything after they're victims of Cobram.
Well, they've got to pay. Look, the amount of money they have to pay out to victims of Cobram.
Like poor
MasterChef, has just seen like countless victims. Brandon Pang nearly cut his hand off on MasterChef because of the Cobram bottle, and that was, I can imagine that payout was in the millions.
Yes.
It was a multi-million-dollar settlement, that one.
But hold on, let's just get on board with the advertising here. Great work, Cobram. We love you sponsoring our favourite show.
Go Cobram. if they're sponsoring, I don't really know. Anyway, there's something about Maggie talks through what she expects in a cake. Mm-hmm. There's just something calming.
It really needs to be an ASMR.
Yes!
YouTube. A Maggie ASMR YouTube channel.
Okay, does somebody in production want to explain to Maggie what ASMR is? And maybe make some money off the back of it? Because, my God, the Bakeoff ASMR you could have. Mm-hmm. You know, that would be spectacular. Like, think about it. It'd be brilliant. So Don opens us up with a lime and a coconut, and he did stir them all up.
He did.
There were a couple of other people doing lime and coconut as well. And there was a Swiss meringue and there was marzipan. There was a fair bit of marzipan in this episode too. Most of it on one cake, it must be said.
It was a fair... The marzipan to cake ratio was
huge. Look, I'm not going to suggest that...
By Jean-Claude Van Damme's youth.
I'm not going to suggest that Dan's cake might have had far too much marzipan on it, but in my notes all I wrote was he's making a fallout shelter. And he's like, I'm making this to now put the cake inside, and the walls were so thick that I didn't think a nuclear blast would get through.
He's like, look, if anything happens, you know, like...
He really loves the video game Fallout 4.
The Lucas Heights reactor just...
He really likes the video game Fallout 4, and he just wants something where he can emerge from to build his own paradise.
That wasn't a wristwatch he was wearing, it was a Pip-Boy.
Now it all makes sense. That's why he's an influencer. So I'm going to skip Annette because we're going to come back to Annette because I've got a bunch of people I need to talk about together.
Okay.
So Laura. Let's talk about Laura. So Laura.
Yep.
She says, I'm making a chocolate and orange cake. And I'm like, oh, cool,
great.
That'll be great. And then she rattles off the next 4 ingredients. Stout.
Not chocolate.
Mayonnaise.
That's not an orange.
Avocado.
Still not chocolate or orange.
Cauliflower.
Really not a chocolate or an orange. Even in the citrus realm, like it is neither a junk food nor a citrus fruit. It's not even a fruit.
It sounds like that sounds like the combination after you've staggered in at 2:00 in the morning and you are really drunk and you need something to eat. And you open the fridge, well, there's one more bottle of stout, so you're like, great, I'll have that. Then you look through, what else have I got left? Mayonnaise, avocado, cauliflower. Sweet, I can have that.
You're sitting on the stairs, dipping the cauliflower in the mayo, sligging the stout.
It's slicing avo over the top.
Now, what I liked about this is that she was hedging her bets because, you know, if everything else failed in her last bake, the illusion cake bake, she could have served this up because it was supposed to be a chocolate and orange cake when really it was a cauliflower and mayo and stout cake.
with avo cream.
With avo cream.
It wasn't... Look,
I don't know how she can afford it. This is why the millennials can't be...
This is the problem for millennials. It's not avocado toast. It's the number of fucking chocolate cakes they're making.
I know. They've gone beyond the smashed avocado.
They're now into pureed avocado cream in the middle of their cakes for moisture.
Her cake really was a fuck you to boomers, wasn't it?
It really was.
It's like, not only will I smash this avocado, I'm not even putting it on toast. I'm putting it on cake. Let them eat cake.
And I'm taking stout, which is a beer that you would drink, boomers. Stout. So I'm taking stout and I'm using avocado. Suck it. Yes. Look, it is a cake that is designed to not let you ever buy a house. That is true. Win, again, also made a lime and a coconut cake. But what I really love about Win is that he talked about the fact that we've got all these children, so I call them by number.
I guess it gets to that point. I've told you about my family, haven't I? Yes, with the uncle being named twice. Robert in the first child, and then by about the 6th or the 7th, another Robert pops along. So
didn't have a variation in the names there.
Yes. As you can imagine, my grandfather's drinking problem grew exponentially with the number of children that came into being.
So Z was salted caramel and dark chocolate, and I love when they tasted it, and Matt's just like, oh, salted caramel and chocolate. That's a horrible combination. Really. It's a terrible combination. Let's go back to...
I loved Z.
Right, let's go back to Annette because I'm going to have this...
fair.
I'm going to make these comments 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8...
This is why you need a rando at the beginning to just step in and go for the first week.
You do. So...
Bring Z back.
So anyway, I'm going to go back onto Annette.
Okay, Annette. All right. Oh, okay, it's Annette.
Oh, shit.
Here we
go.
So
the Queen of Accents is off. So, tell me, Annette, what inspired you to use matcha? This one. spent the whole episode cackling every time somebody else used matcha. And by the way, friend of the show, the one and only Mr. Nathan Taylor from season 1 of Great Australian Bakeoff. Hey Nathan, how you going? The second matcha would appear, Twitter would light up with Nathan tweeting us going, matcha again! That's just, like, first of all, there's a reason I put it on the drinking card, and you better believe we hit it a lot. And for those people playing along, if you weren't playing along, what were you doing? Like, the drinking card is on our Instagram. Yeah. It's on our Twitter. The options tonight were, a baker says their kids love this one. Didn't really have that one. Baker has a cup of coffee or tea. They didn't really have time. Shot of a bird.
Yes.
We had that. Mel and Claire distracted contestant while under the pump. There's too many of them, so they didn't. Yeah. Maggie says a baker's not too sweet. We had that. Baker admits they've never made this bake before.
It wasn't so much not too sweet. It was
butter was
not
fine.
Not too much butter.
Butter was fine.
And this is why I do love. It's Angela. No. Who are we talking about? Annette. Sorry, I'm still getting used to everyone's names. Okay, Annette. Scottish Annette.
Scottish Annette. Okay, the new. Anyway. So, but this is the thing, right? So Bacon admits they'd never made this before. We had a few of those. Mm-hmm. Matt says, I can't find fault with this, then finds a few faults. Well, there weren't faults, so he didn't. Booze in a bacon matcha.
Double.
Fucking hell. That never ended. There was booze, and there was matcha. I'm okay with one of
matcha.
I'm okay with one of the two.
I don't know why you get your knickers in a twist here. You know, you're making matcha do about nothing.
Oh shit. Strawberry and matcha butter cake. So the second cake out of the chute. Now,
because Sunny also used matcha, didn't she?
Well, yeah. Well, we'll come to Sunny's now. So Sunny had a lemon scented, and then she had the sudachi curd, which is the same family as yuzu, and they had a long conversation about that, and followed it up with more fucking matcha.
The trolling is real.
I'm wondering if there weren't, like, notes given to bakers at the start. Hey, if you want to make some guy go mental on a podcast.
Because that's what this whole show is about. They just spent months lovingly crafting an amazing TV show just to piss you off.
Yep, pretty much. I don't see the flaw in this argument, by the way.
Hold on. Oh, what's that? I'm moving. Oh, I see. I'm just revolving around you like the rest of the world.
Exactly. It's about time you worked that out. I loved Dennis's gloves.
I don't know what he expected them to be cooking in, but I'm sure I saw those gloves on Blown Away.
Did Dennis? Yeah, I think he did too. But did Dennis turn up thinking he was having to do the gardening that Matt was doing? It looked like he came ready to prune.
Like, was he expecting the bakes to be cooked in a pyroclastic blast? Because they were some heavy-duty protection
What I really appreciated about Dennis as well, as you said, because there was so much I appreciate about Dennis in this first bake. So first of all, he made that rhubarb and ginger bunt with the piped egg custard.
And the one raspberry that just kept saying
and that one raspberry that made it look like a volcanic rush. But what I really love is that what this demonstrates is that emigration brought about role reversal. Because they emigrated, and he goes, we got out here and I decided that I could bake better than my wife, so I did.
They changed hemispheres and suddenly the world goes topsy-turvy.
Upside down. Oh. So Anson...
But what I like to think is that, like, what he actually did was drag shows.
Yes.
So his wife is now a professional drag queen.
Well, that would be awesome. King, that would be awesome. Yes. So Anson.
Yes.
Now Anson's a vegan.
How did you know that?
He told us. Oh, he told us. Look, I like the fact that they said Anson's a vegan, but he is prepared to bend the rules. And that was because the first thing he was making was a fucking butter cake. Hey, Mr. Vegan, would you like to make the butter cake?
Look, he's vegan to a point, I guess, you know.
And I like the fact, though, that he went with the Arabic spices, and he also then used the pomegranate to balance it out too.
Yeah.
So he went very firm on his flavours, which I really like that.
Yeah.
That he stuck to his flavours. Sue. Now, Sue just went with carrot cake, and we all know, Matt Moran talked about it as well. Matt Moran... bit of a bandit for a carrot cake.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was expecting to don an orange mask and whip away with that carrot cake.
But what Sue did that tempted fate a little bit, she used pineapple. Now, we know their views on pineapple. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if Matt had this internal monologue at one point because he really, really, really loves carrot cake, but he really doesn't like pineapple on cake. So there's this fucking dichotomy going on in his head. I don't know how he managed to balance it.
Do I love this?
Do I throw it out of the shed? Do I do a Matt Preston season 1 of MasterChef and go, this is terrible, throw it to the ground and go, terribly good? Now, David. So David made an apple butter cake with a creme patisserie filling. And then Angela was also making apples, but hers was really interesting because it was a spiced apple and butter cake.
Plus, she had her own fucking apple cutting gadget that she brought all the way from South Australia. It's not like she just kind of popped down the shops and.
I love the fact. I actually
home.
really loved the fact that she stood there and explained. And look, it cuts the apples into perfect slices every time. I'm like, is this an infomercial?
She's gearing up. She's like auditioning. She's using it as an audition for ITV as well as Bakeoff. It's kind of like last year when who was it was auditioning for something. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway,
It'll come back.
Move along.
It'll come back. All right. So
was it Canadian? Maybe it was Canadian.
It was Canadian. It was Canadian. We were talking about what he was trying to have his own TV show. So.
Yes.
So Dan. Now Dan is a social influencer, but a researcher. But an influencer. But a researcher.
But does he influence his research? Because you shouldn't be doing that.
No, you should be unbiased in your research.
The scientific method says...
We need the answer to this question.
Or maybe he is so good at researching he has to save up all his influencing for another section of his life. It's like how when we saw Sunny, she's a research person too and has a creativity in the baking.
She's very good. And like... Dan was a Sicilian cassata with a butter cake, which was chocolate and candied peel. And as we said, 4.5 tons of marzipan to encase the cake so nobody could get to it. So...
In his cake ashram.
The judging of the first challenge. So we'll get to the judging of the first challenge. So I loved the start of the judging where Mel looks at Laura's... These bloody hipsters!
Not put anything in a cake. It's true, though. Mel's very true.
Oh, it's 100% true.
I'm surprised she didn't just serve the ingredients lined up and say it was deconstructed.
Deconstructed cake, oh, yes. Oh. There's youth today, what with their hair.
Just
anyway.
in a cow and some grain, to grow your own wheat.
So... Matt Moran thought it was a really good cake to eat, and Maggie also was surprised because she said it's not as heavy as mud cake.
Yeah,
and she said the moisture was actually really good coming through from the ingredients. The subtlety on Dennis's one was they said the presentation is not where you'd want it, and I like that was very.
That's very what's that word? That's kind.
Kind. So
kind
Maggie said the flavour is good. Matt said tasty A presentation. No.
Oh, you could have gone nay.
I thought about it, but
why didn't you go nay?
Now David,
right there in front of you.
David got our first fulsome and wholesome from Maggie this year. Not the first time, not the last time we hear it in this episode. We got fulsome and we got wholesome. And Matt said nice and buttery. I
do like that fulsome and wholesome sound like a 70s folk band, though.
They do. They really do. And we need to move on to Don. Because we need to talk about Don's decoration.
His combi apron.
No.
And Macron shirt.
We're going to talk about the combi apron in a minute.
Yes.
But there's something far more pressing. It was sitting on top of the cake.
The Shrek poo.
It looked like Shrek had taken a dump. I think it was supposed to be limes. They were very kind. It was horrible. Look, to be fair, and this is not a shot, Don, but this is not a shot. It's probably the worst thing that was made in the episode, which should give you an idea of the quality when Shrek poo on top of a butter cake.
That tastes amazing.
It still tasted good. As they said, it was really moist. The cake was wonderful, but they said, what the fuck is this? Like, if that is the worst thing you've got coming out of episode 1.
Shrek guano.
Shrek guano. I wonder if Shrek guano contains, like, added properties for, like, growing plants.
Probably, from that sprouts a
Come on, this would be good. A donkey.
A donkey-based
A donkey plant that comes up, and as it opens up, it goes, I'm making waffles. Anyway, Sunnies, they said it looked amazing. It was ultra moist in the middle, and Matt Moran was just absolutely in love with the flavour of it. He was really sort of gushing over it. Challenge number 1, and he was gushing.
Yeah.
Dan's, they said it was a little bit thick. And they
Just
said
on the marzipan side
they
of
said
things.
the marzipan drew away from the cake. The marzipan drew away from a lot of things. Like Trump, I believe, is asking about it for the wall. He's looking for a cheap
option.
option.
American steel. We're bringing in American marzipan.
He's looking for a cheap option, and I'm pretty sure marzipan's going to be the way. And Dan could take photos in front of it.
He wanted alligators and snakes in a moat.
Yeah, I know. But what could happen is Dan could stand in front of the marzipan wall and take selfies. It'd be great. Influencer.
Yeah.
Think about this.
Influence people not to
go near the wall. So Suze, Maggie thought the cake was really moist, and Matt thought that taste was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. They genuinely and there were a couple of points in this episode where they made like Angela's later on where they made noises where they cut the cake.
And Mel commented on that.
Yes. Oh, you're getting noises. So they commented that Anson's was very Persian looking, which is good given that was what he was going for. That's helpful.
I mean, it would be a little weird if it kind of resembled, I don't know, something from a Pacific island, just...
So Matt was worried that it looked a bit crusty, but he said that the spice was fantastic and the crust actually worked really well.
Yeah.
Annette, they said it was a very pretty cake, but it was a bit too greasy for Matt. Not too greasy, however, for the queen of the butter hoard herself. Maggie Beer.
Maggie's like, this is light compared to what I'm used to, which is just a stick of butter.
Just a stick of butter.
Rolled in a bit of flour.
Exactly. And we got one of our great Maggie-isms. Mm-hmm. A great mouth feel. Tell me, what is a great mouth feel?
Obviously, it's very buttery cake.
Very buttery.
Yes.
So
this
buttery.
is what I love is, I think Annette's flavour palette is possibly
Maggie
quite Scottish.
What gives you that idea? Next week when they may make deep fried Mars bars, even though that's not the challenge.
Well, it might be batter week one week where she brings in the deep fried Mars bar.
I hope so. I really hope so. Win, they just basically said the cake was beautiful. They just said the whole thing was beautiful. Mm-hmm. Z, they said the cake felt a bit dense when it was cut. They said it did need acidity. She was going to say I was going to put fruit in it, but I decided against it.
Yeah, it was something like her mum would have made.
Yes. And Angela. So again, they made noises, and it almost it was the reverse of one of the greatest commercials of all time. Now, my brother really likes the ad for the Sara Lee. It's a cake pie. And Andrew my brother really loves this because there's a great line where there's guy playing an 1860s American prospector goes, "There's cake in this pie." Well, in this case, there's pie in this cake. Because there was an apple pie in the middle of it. And they're like, it's great.
It looked so good.
I was at that point, I was definitely prepared to run through the TV and just take
Angela
that cake.
is one of my faves.
Oh, it was really good. So that sort of got us through the end of the first. I'm like, okay, so the show's the signature, they come prepared. They know what they're doing for that. We'll see what happens through them all in the technical. That'll trip them all over.
Ha ha!
No. The technical. Now, the technical, Matt gave a lot of instructions, but let's face it, there was only one instruction that anyone cared about. I love a firm set.
Don't we all, Matt?
And then to which Claire responded with, but what about the cake? So they had to make 12 Rafa cakes.
Yes.
Now, obviously, these are an homage to either Rafael Nadal or Rafael Benitez, the former great Liverpool manager.
Or Raphael the Ninja Turtle.
Or Raphael the artist, which is the inspiration for the Ninja Turtle. Probably the Ninja Turtle, I reckon.
Yeah. Did you know you can buy the original latex
I saw that. It's falling apart.
Of Donatello.
It looks scary.
From the Ninja Turtles movie
it looks
from the 90s.
It looks so scary.
It looks like, remember in the old history documentaries where they recreate a face, from the Stone Age?
I think I say remember.
And they're halfway through putting the plaster on, and it's got that kind of wide, gummy smile.
I thought you were going to say, remember in those history documentaries, those really weird professors they trot out. It looks like one of those too. Looks like the guy from Ancient Aliens. It really does, actually. That's not wrong. So the Raffa cakes, it's a Jaffa cake, but with raspberry. Raffa cake.
Perfect sense, because you take the J out, because oranges start with the letter J.
Exactly. It's like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, where he tries to spell Jehovah. It starts with a J, but it starts with an I in Latin. Exactly the same. Exactly.
Jehovah, indeed.
Exactly. Oranges start with a J in Latin. That's exactly what it means.
Jaffa, taken from the Latin for
Jaffa. So it's basically a chamois sponge with jelly. 2 hours, cover it in chocolate. They all got really caught up on the zigzag pattern.
But I do like that it was open to interpretation, and it's like when you're doing those tests when you're a child and you're asked to draw something based on some instructions and what everyone comes up with.
Yep. So we also got a couple of interesting things. Now, I do want to mention this. We had night baking going on.
Ooh.
Up late. There is something...
Bakeoff up late. That's why there was a lot of paddles in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that? I think they're from, actual baking things.
What I really like about... I actually really liked there's something about that shed lit up at night.
It's beautiful.
The whole scene is just stunning. And I actually really liked it.
And the fairy lights in the background, and
the lighting looked really good. I mean, probably a bastard to shoot, but it looked amazing.
And to set up and take down, fucking meters and meters of fairy lights.
I'm not taking those down.
Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation.
So it was raspberry with dark chocolate over the orange, and what I really loved is we talked about this last week on Canadian. Where Bruno was having the technical in Canadian explained to him. And you could just see after about 20 seconds of explanation, Bruno didn't give a shit. He just wanted to eat.
He's like, no, this is just going in my mouth now. Yes, okay.
And we got something I never thought we'd see. So Matt is going into great detail, and Maggie looks at him and goes, can we taste? Come on. And just sort of takes one. I'm like,
don't keep the Maggie waiting.
Maggie's going, I am a national treasure. Where's my cake?
Where's my Raffa cake?
Where's my Raffa cake? So everyone was sort of... The thing about this challenge ended up being the egg whites.
Yeah.
So did you separate the eggs into whites or did you whisk them all in together? Now, Laura decided that you needed to separate them.
So did Combi Dude.
Yes. So
Don.
So did Don. Let's talk about Don's apron, shall we?
Okay. Combi Don.
What Christmas do you think he got that for?
I'm guessing 2016.
And which tobacconist did they buy it from?
Probably his local, down at Collaroy. It really does, to me, feel like he's either from the eastern suburbs or the northern beaches.
It's just, look,
of Sydney.
I'm not going to lie, it's quite cool. There was a lot going on in his album. And by the way, can I just say...
That Macron shirt was awesome.
That shirt was awesome. But
do you reckon Ben Tribbiani has
I wonder if Ben Tribbiani from MasterChef has that shirt. We need to find that out. What I was really impressed by as well, and we talk about this a lot, we didn't mention at the start. Can I just say, Mel Buttle, Claire Hooper, game on point.
Oh, with their outfit choices.
Yeah.
See, Mel's intimated that she was
love that blazer.
Yeah, intimated that she was channeling Matt. But I feel like she's channeling a bit Sue Perkins there.
I think very much so.
Little subtle homage.
I actually absolutely loved Claire's cardigan.
Yes.
It was
so
cool. I love the hair. Yeah. I'm jealous. I'd love to be able to do that, but
But they were great in the shed, I just think they're two of Australia's most underrated comedians.
100%. 100%. So it was all about separating the egg whites. As we said, Don separated them out. Laura separated them out. Sunny didn't. I'm going to go out on a limb here after watching this first challenge. Mm-hmm. Follow Sunny.
Yeah?
I'm going out on a limb. She was the one who just went, no, it just feels like he's going to put them in together.
We always have that one person in the Bakeoff shed who you should, kind of cheat off their homework.
Yeah, it's true. Every single series. And you work it out. Well, the better one was in Kiwi, where everyone just started following whatever Larissa did. They just waited. Right. In Kiwi Bakeoff, they just waited for Larissa to start. And when Larissa started, everyone went, that's what we're doing. And that's the truth. You just sort of work out everyone looks around and goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's the person I'm following.
Yeah.
I like that Angela decided, because she's like, I don't know what to do. I think they're just small cupcakes. I'm basing it off cupcakes.
Good work, Angela. It worked in your favour.
But poor David. I'm wondering if David had seen the show. He was shocked the timing wasn't included.
No. But he also, and this is the other thing, right? Now, Bakeoff is our beloved, friendly, care about, you're there for the baking kind of thing. Now, at the very beginning, when everyone's doing their first little things to camera, he said, I'm here to win.
Well, there were a few people who said that. There were a couple of people who said, I'm not allowed home until I...
That was Dennis.
Yeah, I'm not allowed home early.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of
I just think that's his wife, she's having her swingers parties.
I think...
Or she's going to have a snore-free sleep.
Or his wife's just looking forward to being allowed to bake.
In the kitchen.
She hasn't been allowed to bake since they got back. So, some of the things when they pulled in that, you could see the people who had separated out the egg whites and hadn't. Some of them looked very blonde.
Yes.
There was one where I can't remember who it was, but one person opened up their oven and pulled their tray out, and it was a long distance shot. It wasn't a close shot, but it looked like they had a tray full of lights.
Paler than an Englishman's buttocks on holiday in Mallorca.
There you go. That's good.
I know. That's why you keep me around.
That's really good. I'm so impressed by that
For
one.
my similes.
Exactly.
And metaphors.
I did like Annette with the traditional sort of Scottish response of, anyone for jelly shots?
Woo! Annette is our kind of lady.
Yes, and Annette at the moment seems to be our patronus.
Yes.
I'm fine with this. Dennis. Now, I loved, again, every time I mention Dennis, Kristie just goes, I love Dennis. Right, there was my favourite moment of Dennis in this challenge was that they were talking about being precise with the chocolate, and they're like, Dennis is like, I'm trying to be very precise, and they cut away from Dennis, and as they cut away from Dennis, you just hear him go, oops.
Precision fucked up.
Precision, again, and he's a former maths teacher, I would have assumed, if you don't carry the one... the whole equation doesn't work, and society doesn't exist apparently.
No.
So he's probably really pedantic on his numerators and denominators, not so much on pouring chocolate. And as you saw when we got to the end there, everyone else had covered theirs, and his was just dripping down the side.
Not as rough as Annette's, I must say.
Yeah, I love because Annette uses the phrase, look, it's all clean lines, as she just smudged everything. Annette, look, if British national treasure Mary Berry had been there, she would have called them informal. Maggie, I'm surprised, didn't call them rustic.
I think they were beyond rustic.
They were rusted, probably closer. And I love when Matt came out. Now, what I really loved when Matt came out was he looked at them and he's giving... They're giving a lot more narration this year. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There wasn't a voiceover saying who came in what position, which threw me for a loop trying to take notes. Suddenly Matt Moran is rattling off positions, and I'm like, shit, slow down, Matt, I can't keep up. But Matt was talking about... looking at them, and he's like, I'm seeing some of the patterns of this, some of the patterns of that. I'm only seeing a few that look like mine, and I'm there going, you didn't show them yours. They've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You haven't brought a tray of yours out and gone, these are what I made. The only person in there who's seen it is Maggie, and she ate one. That's it. And she probably ate the rest of them because she
didn't have to bake any.
No, she didn't have to bake them, and she was quite keen to throw you out because you weren't feeding her. Dennis, they said it was a bit rough. It's a bit of an understatement. They said the jelly melted in the mouth though and was really nice. And they went with not bad.
They were ready for that jelly.
Now, Annette, they said the chocolate was too thick. If you look at the way that she threw it on, it was really heavily layered. It was caked on.
Look, it's how they do it in Edinburgh, right?
It is how they do it in Edinburgh.
It's not a Glasgow Raffa cake.
They said
Edinburgh Raffa cake.
They said it was very, very fulsome. That's, again, the second Maggie, very fulsome. Mm-hmm. But they said her jelly didn't set. And Matt's like, well, that would have been because you covered it in that much chocolate. Dan's, they just said, were good. Sue, they really liked the jelly on Sue's. They thought the jelly on hers was great. Mm-hmm. Then they had Don's. And Matt just looked at him and goes, there's something wrong with that sponge. And that's where he went, I separated out the egg whites.
Yeah.
And then like they said that they looked at Laura's and they said a little dry. The cake is wrong. When they spoke later on, Laura went, I separated out the whites too. And Matt goes, the truth comes out. And I'm like, well, they weren't hiding it.
No.
They don't say anything because it's blind judging.
Maybe what they didn't show is that there was like...
Walking up and down the line?
Matt's just gone, okay, all cameras off. Okay, you two to the small shed. And he's just interrogating them. What did you do to that sponge? Nothing, Matt. I swear we did nothing.
He's got a heat lamp out of an oven and he's like showing in their eyes, I know it. You tell me what you did to that sponge and you tell me right now, I'm sorry, Matt, don't make me work at Aria. Z, they said it was very neat and everything was just right on it. Win, they said the pattern was wrong on top, but the cake itself was absolutely perfect. Mm-hmm. Anson's, they said, were very good.
Yep.
They said the sponge on Angela's was very good. Sonny, they almost basically, Matt Moran just sort of, his words were, to paraphrase him, I basically made these. That's basically what he said.
So good, I basically made them.
Yeah.
Maybe he did go into a trance and just spirit walked into...
Possibly. So David's was precise. The sponge was good, they said. So in the positions, and this was hard because suddenly Matt Moran is reading them out at 100 mile an hour. Mm-hmm. Don was 12th. Laura was 11th. Annette was 10th. Dennis was 9th. Even after they said not bad, Dennis was 9th. Mm. Sue was 8th. Dan was 7th. Anson was 6th. Angela was 5th. Z was 4th. David was 3rd. Win was 2nd. And Sonny was 1st.
Yeah.
So then they asked them who they thought was doing the best and who was in trouble. And basically, it was Angela, Sonny, and David at this point, they said, were in prime position. Mm-hmm. And they said that Don, Z, and Dennis was in trouble. And Maggie was the one who brought up Dennis being in a bit of trouble. And at this point, I think everyone feared for Dennis.
I know, I was quite worried. I'm like, I just didn't want anyone to go home. I really didn't want Z to go home.
So that brings us to the showstopper.
Yeah.
Now, the showstopper was an illusion cake. Now, we saw, I think, Canadian did an illusion cake.
Yes.
In their last series, they did an illusion cake. We've seen a few of these. They talked about how they're very popular on Instagram, and that followed Mel Buttle basically describing Dan's existence.
On a beach in Bondi.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag blessed. So she was basically, I was waiting for them to just show Dan. And him go, it's so true. It's so true.
He's like, oh my God, that's a good idea.
That's my life.
For a photo shoot. Oh no, I've already done that one.
I don't have the SEO bowl on the beach.
Yeah.
Matt said basically he wanted edible pieces of art. And Laura's response was to add rum.
Well, Annette's response was to add whiskey.
Annette did. So
good to see that Mon's booze stash is
still doing great.
You know.
The still is still working, which is fantastic. And apparently now diversifying. What I really liked about Laura's is she added rum, but she took away everything else because it was a vegan coconut cake in a wooden planter box. Now, maybe
the idea was to put the rum in so people were too drunk to notice that everything else
was missing. It seemed to work. Matt loved it. Matt thought it was great. But she said that it was inspired by the fact that she was in the gardening club at high school.
That's cool.
Did you have a gardening club at high school?
Okay. So...
I knew there would be something.
I don't know what transpired, but my school decided, way back before it was trendy, because this is the mid-90s, of having a veggie patch at school. And they dragged a number of us kids out of class, and I don't know why, because there was no rhyme or reason, to build this veggie patch. Now, it must have been year 8, because I was flirted with for the first time. There was a young man who I'd never noticed before, because I was still quite not into boys. And he flirted with me quite a lot, and I didn't understand what was going on. And there were like these knowing looks going on, and I had no idea. He ended up being my first boyfriend. It took another year, I think. No, maybe a few months. And it lasted a week because I got quite annoyed because my mum could have got us cheap tickets to the movies and we're going on a double date. And instead of being able to get like a choc top as well as the movie ticket. I just had to buy the movie ticket because I didn't have the discounted tickets because they wouldn't tell me what cinema and what thing we're going to. And then we got there and all he wanted to do was kiss. And I'm like, I have paid full price for this fucking movie. I'm going to watch it.
So that is Kristie's gardening club story.
No, but we built the garden. We were supposed to tend it. And like everything else, I've tried to garden in my life.
Yeah, we've recently put plants on the balcony and I'm watching over those.
Yes, that is your job, Farmer Buchanan.
Yeah, it is my job. The farmer works hard. So, Angela. Made the pancake stack. Let's talk about that pancake stack, shall we?
It was phenomenal.
Yep.
And this is what I find interesting, right? For me, an illusion cake should look exactly like what it is. Like, it's not a caricature cake, and I feel that a few people went that way. Like the moon and the rocket ship, that's great. But if it was actually going to be an illusion cake, it would be like a third of the side of the Earth.
Yeah, look, if they were really going for that, we would have got the Apollo 11, mission completely recreated.
And that planet was very tiny.
He could have made Michael Collins,
like
Buzz Aldrin.
Pluto was kicked out of the solar system.
Exactly. For similar size.
At least. Yeah.
Look, we could have ended up with a Michael Collins, a Buzz Aldrin, and a Neil Armstrong out of marzipan. That was a real thing. We know they have enough marzipan. Yeah. Dan made a wall.
And this is not me detracting from, because like the standard of fucking cooking, like baking in the shed, is amazing.
Realistically, the person who went home because their sandcastle didn't meet Matt Moran's high expectations of sand.
Who knew he was a sandcastle connoisseur?
Now,
he gets down to like sculptures by the sea.
No, it's Aria.
Really?
He's got a view of the harbour.
Sandcastle building.
I wonder if he spends all his time.
Circular key. There's no sand.
No, but he spends all his time like out the window with binoculars, looking over at beaches on the other side of the harbour.
There's no beaches on
really far up the fucking harbour.
You just like. Okay.
There are little private beaches.
Okay.
Exactly.
He's perving on Lady what's he?
No, he's perving on Kirribilli House.
No,
he's looking at the Morrisons. No, how good is looking at Kirribilli? How good is looking at Kirribilli?
No, the Obelisk Beach. The nudist beach. And what's the other one? Lady Jane Northcott or something.
Let's go with that, shall we?
Yeah.
That sounds more like a disease. But anyway, he's looking at castles all day. He's watching them, and he knew the ratio of water to sand.
He looked at Fort Denison, all right.
He was talking about the ratio of water to sand like it was a real sand castle. He's like, you haven't used the right water to sand ratio on that castle, really? I was waiting for him to, reveal behind him was actually a chalkboard.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do the maths for you. And Dennis is like, I got you. I can help you out here. Calculations.
Something I want to say, though, is even though it wasn't well executed, hers, Z's was going for an illusion cake, because it was the same size as a bucket that you'd take to the beach. Whereas the moon that David produced.
So your criticism is that the moon isn't the right size.
It's not an illusion. I'm not walking up to that and going, holy shit, the moon's fallen. It's not even the same size as you'd see the moon in the sky. It's
big pizza pie, really.
Exactly.
It's not amore. It's not amore.
Okay, it was a little, caricature-y, but Sue's chicken was more chicken-like because of its size than the moon. And the aircraft shuttle,
I didn't think about this before, but now that's all I can think about.
What?
It's not an illusion if the moon's tiny.
Yeah, and the planet isn't even in scale. So, and don't get me wrong, fucking beautifully executed.
You're not wrong.
But not an illusion cake, because I wouldn't look at that and go, oh my god, it's the actual moon.
You're not wrong.
No.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, whereas, Dan's tree stump, ahoy.
It looked like a tree stump. You know what it looked like?
What?
It looked like Mr. Doobie was about to come out and Romper Room was about to happen.
And I know that because I've been on Romper Room.
I know you've been on Romper Room.
Yeah, it's true.
Dennis's, okay, so
Dennis's was, if he'd have taken the mice off, it would have looked like cheese, and that would have been cool.
I fucking love those mice. I'm not going to lie.
He gave them names.
Yeah, he gave them names.
I'll just take Boris's tail. I'm sure a little piece of him died when Matt cut through
Boris down the middle. Like, he hoed right through the middle of
Now
Boris.
we know who was at them with a carving knife.
So, yeah, he cut off Did cut off his tail with a carving knife?
Yeah.
3 blind Morans. See how they bake. But I love the fact that he was doing a banana cake in the shape of cheese with mice, and then they said, and when they got to the judging of his, Maggie looks at him and they go, is that banana in there? And he goes, I backed it off because I didn't want it to be too moist. And I thought Maggie Beer was going to have a conniption.
Oh, she's like, moist is our magic word.
Moist is our... And she, was summoning.
In Maggie's coven... Like,
the one in the Verges Fields at Stately Beer Manor?
Yes, she's there in her
Vision
robes.
Quest, where the Vision Quest happened.
Where the Vision Quest happened. She's coming in her robes. Sisters, gather round. Let us invoke the spirit of the Verjuice Fields. Moist. That's their, chant.
There's something horrible about the idea of Maggie Beer sitting in a field of Verjuice chanting moist, but we'll move on. So, Sue. So, that chicken... lemon custard filling, orange sponge, and more importantly, it looked A, like a chicken, or B, like one of those, those chicken pottery things? It looked really like that.
Like you put eggs in it.
Yeah.
Like you pull the top off and there's eggs in it.
It looked just like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. The feathers were so just exquisitely put
it wasn't realistic, but it was, you knew exactly what it bloody was. It was like, how can I put it, a highbrow... Women's Weekly cake.
It looked like, she looked like she'd seen the Women's Weekly cookbook.
Went, I can do better.
And gone, I can do better than that birthday cake. Next week I can't wait for her to do biscuit week, and then she suddenly managed to do the swimming pool cake as a biscuit. So we've got...
chicken in it.
So then Dennis then did something really productive. He dropped his pencil in the tin, which was great, and grappling around with that. We had our first example of double fisting in the tent.
Yes,
Anson was double fisting at that point in time.
Well,
and his technique was interesting. He had rolled over backwards wrists.
Yeah.
He was double fisting backwards. It was incredible.
I think because he was missing out on the gym. He was just trying to get in
It was his gym work.
day.
Yeah, it was arm day, yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about David and his not really mooncake. Dan. Now, Dan spent all of his time making peanut butter. Apparently it was worth it because they said the peanut butter was amazing. What he did also include was chocolate matcha. And this was the point you nearly fell off the lounge.
Yes.
I went fucking matcha again, and all I could hear was cackling.
Now, I am glad that Dan didn't use my uncle's apparent... he told my nephew... how can I put... They're family friends, right? So they're not... we found out they are blood related, but very distantly. But he was like the uncle, and so his son, he told him that peanut butter was made by feeding nuts to monkeys, and then you pull the tail, and the peanut butter comes out of their butt.
Why?
Because why not? He's the same guy who he and Dad went out shooting because they lived on a country farm, and it was the Easter long weekend, and came home to tell us that there'd be no Easter eggs because they accidentally shot the Easter bunny.
The more and more you describe elements of your childhood, the more I understand.
Oh, it was sad.
I understand so much more than I did previously. Moving on. So, Anson decided to make weights from his cake.
Yep.
So, raspberry and vanilla cake and the passion fruit kettlebell.
Yes. And that's how you'd get me to the gym.
Passion fruit kettlebell?
It's like, okay, and now we'll be using this equipment. Okay, Kristie, stop eating the kettlebell.
Kristie, we need that kettlebell. Annette just simply said, when they went, what are you doing over there, Annette? And she goes, I am constructing the turtle.
It's not a turtle.
The turtle. And my God, it looked good.
I was expecting it to be Pratchett-like, just have a little... It
wasn't far off.
...world on the back.
It was actually...
held up by elephants.
It was actually to the point you could have put the world on its back.
Yes.
The
little Ankh-Morpork.
What I was really impressed with was the level of artistry on that shell. Mm-hmm. The detail was so perfect.
And the eggs. Have you ever seen a turtle lay eggs?
I have.
It's mesmerising.
My favourite video that I have ever shown a class of students is the Great Barrier Reef documentary series.
Yeah.
And there is one where the guy, Monty Halls, which, what a name, first of all, and he goes up and they show you what happens when all the turtles migrate to lay their eggs. And it's fascinating because they show the bit of the predators, so they show the sharks waiting off the coast and, turtles swimming past because the sharks are waiting for the ones that didn't make it off the beach because it's an easy meal. And there's one turtle they put a GoPro on its back, and that's fun because you get to watch a turtle steal a GoPro, basically. I can only assume the GoPro never came back.
Okay, wait. Like, is it worth it? Is that footage necessary?
It's the footage worth it for never getting the GoPro back?
Or do they... Is that a turtle that's trying to make it in the biz and it's like it shows up to...
Action.
Yeah.
I've got this. What have you done? Well, I've filmed some guerrilla stuff, really light, easy stuff, really, but, like some student films, but I really want to get into the big time. What documentaries am I seeing?
In a short coming out for Tropfest.
Yeah, documentaries am I seeing, and I'm really interested to show my voyage.
I was going to be on a KFC ad, but I was beaten out by Ed Cavalier.
But far more importantly about this episode, so the whole purpose of this story is that Monty Halls is deciding to lay at the rear end of a turtle while it is laying eggs. What is great about this is
yes,
the turtle gradually gets more pissed as this Monty Halls is like there, and so the turtle is trying to push the sand to like bury the eggs. And he just is, nature's wonderful, and look at this, and it's wonderful, and she'll bury these eggs, and blah, 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 blah. And then there's a whoosh, and this bit of sand goes flying past his face, and he like ducks, like, oh, she tried to hit me with that, oh well, never mind. And he goes back to talking, and 3 seconds later, bang, she just and it's not like an accidental, she targeted him, and she smacks him full in the face.
The turtle, Monty.
It goes into his mouth, and he just spits it out, looks at the camera, and goes, I think she's sending me a message, it's time to go. And she turns her head around as if to say, fuck off. Can you not see what's coming out of my rear parts?
I have just had my lady bits stretched beyond imagination, and you're doing what?
I'm pushing out ping pong balls here.
Yes.
All right. So,
but hers definitely an illusion cake.
Chocolate mud with chocolate whiskey ganache. Speaking of, okay, so the pterodactyl.
I think you'll find it's called ganache.
So the pterodactyl.
McGanache. The clan McGanache.
The pterodactyl.
Oh, he's so cute.
Now, does the pterodactyl meet your illusions?
Well, yes, because I think that size, it's a baby pterodactyl. It might be a little bit on the runty side, but I reckon that would be about the size you'd expect a baby pterodactyl to be.
What about the size of the volcano?
That was the egg, not a fucking volcano.
I thought it was in a volcano.
What kind of volcano is white?
Good point, you're right. I'm blending two bakes together. It's been a long day. I was doing a million things during that show.
I don't care. It's an egg via volcano. Like, what happens when you open up our fridge, my love, and you just see these mini volcanoes?
We don't have eggs.
True.
So Angela put layers of fondant around the cake to look like the outside of the pancakes, which just added that crisp to it. Now, Don made an antique vase. Mm-hmm. And what I loved,
the 17th century Ming Dynasty.
What I loved about this was when he put the layer of the fondant over the top of it, and Mel Buttles come over and gone, "It's an octopus! You've done it! A jellyfish! You've done it!" And then it was like, no, it's actually a vase. And she goes, "Yes, a nice round hump-like vase." Mel was on fire tonight.
She was.
So Z, we talked about the beach. And Sunny made her own planter box, complete with she did like the veins so you could see where it was the level of detail on those succulents.
The buttercream piping of the succulents is amazing.
It was really impressive. And you know where you can find things just as impressive?
Where?
Australian Sugarcraft magazine.
Yes, indeed. And I bet you that's where she learned how to pipe those beautiful buttercream succulents.
So if you're looking for a quality magazine focused on cake decorating and sugar art, Australian Sugarcraft is really the place you start.
Because why have one when you can have both?
Everything. So it's full colour digital. Mm-hmm. It's step-by-step tutorials. There's recipes, there's tips, there's ideas, there's hints, there's tricks. There's all sorts of things. There's possible innuendo. Possibly not.
Maybe a centerfold.
Ooh,
featuring two big bunts.
I'd love to see a centerfold. We need to put that to the publishers.
Yes, they can.
How do you do a centerfold? How do you do a centerfold on a digital magazine?
You just open up the double click in the middle of the digital magazine, like in the very middle. It's like, remember the olden days in
Yes,
on
the
blogs
olden days, yes, and the blogs.
in blogs and
I
stuff.
love when
and
we can
people,
talk about the olden days of the blogs.
you know, and people would put on their website like a little hidden.
So this was after
thing?
this was after the MIRC days.
Yes, you know,
yes.
you'd go onto your GeoCities, and someone might have something written in white,
And they'd have a
text
hidden,
on white.
they'd have a hidden page.
Yeah, you just click on the micro, like the one fucking.
I had a hidden page on my website.
What was it hiding?
What was it hiding? Page not found. I never got around to redesigning the rest of the website.
Ah, fair enough.
I had a hidden page though. I was the height of interesting.
Yes, I bet you had glitter font and like music and.
No, I pulled out menus because I knew how to program. But what you don't get is any of that in Australian Sugarcraft magazine.
No.
Subscriptions are only $19.90 per year, and you get 2 issues.
Bargain.
Bumper issues. They're bumper. I think we can officially call all those in favour of officially calling each edition bumper.
Aye.
All opposed? Meh. So if you really want to find out more about it, then go to facebook.com/Australian Sugarcraft.
Oh, let's do that after we finish this podcast.
So let's finish that podcast. Let's get to the judging.
Yes.
So Dan, so they said it looked amazing, and Maggie gave me one of my favourite lines of the evening where she goes, "That's just how a piece of timber looks."
Indeed. I did think...
That's the idea, Maggie.
It did look fantastic, though.
Oh, it looked perfect.
And then she goes, and now we'll split the log. Get it? Because, like, when you cut wood, you can split
They said the flavour was amazing, especially with that peanut butter in the middle.
Yeah.
Annette. So what I loved here was Matt Marine goes, "Oh, he's a happy little guy," and she goes, "It's a girl. Look at the eggs."
Yeah.
And Matt's like, "Oh, I didn't see those."
Maybe the turtle's gender neutral, you know? It just happens to have a uterus and ability to lay eggs.
This also gave
Do
us...
they have... No. It's no use.
They also gave us...
Cloaca? Is that what the eggs
Let's go with that.
Okay.
Matt turned around to Maggie and went, "How's the whiskey, Maggie?" And Maggie said, "Oh, it's there."
But what I like, it's like Annette's like, "Oh no, I don't think there's much," and Maggie's like, "Yes, there is," and it's like Scottish taste buds. Just
Now, David was given a gift that bakers can only dream of. Dave was given a setup by comedy legend Mel Buttle.
oh, she was.
Is it Uranus, Dave? No, Mel, that would be bigger. But and you can just see she looked at the camera like, "My work here." They said it was really well balanced. They said it was creative. They said it was a great cake. Notice how they didn't say if it was an illusion that represented the moon.
Yeah.
You hold them to a higher standard quite clearly.
I do. You know, you don't want me judging in that shed. Just it'd be like, "Oh, here she comes, Nazi Kristie."
Nazi Kristie.
Just
for judging buttercream harshly.
The Gestapo of the shed.
The ghetto Staffo, yeah. Anyway, the ghetto Stapo. Moving on. The Ganache-Stapo. Sunny, they said it looked amazing. The colours were exact. Maggie made a lot of noises.
Identifying, individual plants.
Yes, she really was.
It's
Buttercream.
an agave.
Yes, the buttercream, the coffee, the chocolate, everything was great. They said they thought the Dons was an amazing illusion. They said the caramel and the chocolate was amazing as a combination. All of those things they said were really good, and they said the cake was ultra moist.
Moist. Magic word.
So we opened up, when they got to Sue's, we opened up with Maggie calling chickens. So many things I never thought I'd hear on this show, and like in one episode.
Maggie calling a chicken.
So they said it was really fluffy and the custard was really nice. Maggie also loved the balance of the lemon. They liked Anson's. They thought it was really good. They thought that the flavours were really nice. They thought the design was really clean. They thought that was good. Laura, they said it looked amazing. The detail was really good. Plenty of rum.
Oh, yes. You might have taken a lot of stuff out, but you sure packed it in with a rum.
And Matt was just still amazed that it was a vegan cake. When they said the detail was absolutely amazing, Maggie then said that she was about to go into a chocolate coma, but a really good chocolate coma.
Yes.
Dennis. They said it looked cute. We talked about the idea of cutting it in half. Z. Now, poor Z, they said the problem was the visual. As we said, Matt got really involved in castle design.
Yes. He's mortally offended. I'm still not over that.
Better homes and castles. And And then...
Sandcastles in the sand. Bit of Robin Sparkles there.
Well, we've got an episode title. Angela, they said it was mind-blowing. The cake tasted amazing. It was perfectly balanced.
And they couldn't believe the blueberries weren't real blueberries.
The schnozberries tasted like schnozberries. No,
the blueberries.
What made that work so well was that you had the fake blueberries on top, but then the real blueberry in the cake.
Yes.
It was so clever. Yeah. That is why Angela was the star baker.
And was so well deserved.
And Z was unfortunately the person going home.
Yeah, which I was devastated about. I really wanted to get to know her.
And Dennis echoed all of our thoughts when he's like, do we have to go home? Can't we keep everybody? We've suggested this. Yep. We keep putting it forward. People don't listen to us.
Maybe that's what the second shed is about. It's not just about the interrogation, but also that's where the ex-bakers go. And
they're going to run a second show?
Yeah.
Okay. Bit like Survivor Des. So that was episode 1 of the Great Australian Bake-Off. And it was a great episode.
It was fantastic. The baking standard is high. Every year, I think the baking standard gets high, and I'm like, they can't top that.
They've done a really good job.
Yeah, they've done a beautiful job. The shed looks amazing. The cakes were amazing. The bakes were interesting.
So we'll see what happens.
People are cool.
We'll see what happens, obviously, with episode 2. I'm really looking forward to episode 2 now.
Biscuits.
I think it is. I don't know. They didn't say.
Oh, true.
I predicted biscuits, but, I don't know.
Usually a biscuit week.
We'll find out.
You know what it's going to be? It's going to be like a free-from week, and Laura's going to own it.
I don't know if I want free-from week. Oh, I don't know if she goes, I'm out of ideas. I'll use them all in one week.
She comes in the free-from week. She's like, I'm doing mine free from veganism.
Yeah, I'm doing nothing but butter.
It's a meat-based cake.
I wonder if in free from week, if they do one of those sorts of weeks, if they do one of those, but you have to leave things out of it. I wonder if you normally leave things out of it, do you have to add them in? Oh, that would be fun. That could be interesting. That could be a twist. Oh. So until next, we've got Canadian coming up in the next couple of days, so keep your ears open for that. If you're keeping up with that show, and we might have something for you early next week as well. Not promising anything, but I've got a fairly strong suggestion there might be something coming up early next week, so keep your ears open for that. But until then, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We will catch you all later.
Here, chuk, 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 chuk.